Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Janet Yong, and in my channel I share about Feng Shui, 八字, entrepreneurship as well as personal growth, especially in the areas of communication, success and motivation. In today's episode, I'll be sharing with you on the next set of animal horoscope forecasts for the new year 2022 for those born with the dragon and snake within their charts. Now, let me ask you, should we pronounce it as 2022 or 2020, or like I've always said, 2022? Well, I think in many instances we need to investigate the perspective that each person is coming from. In British and American English is 2020, but I'm not coming from there. Please do remember that as we move along to the new period, especially period 9, we need to see things from various different perspectives, and not everything is viewed from your lens and therefore it is right or wrong. So I hope you do understand this particular point. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are not familiar with Feng Shui, what period 9 is, do go to this link that I'm showing here, where I have a series of videos of what's going to come and change in period 9 and why it is important for us to be open-minded, especially when learning about new things, about the various different perspectives, and not insist on your point of view, because what's right currently may not be right in the future, as what has been seen in the last 2 years, where mindsets, concepts, everything that we know has significantly changed. Before I proceed, I would like to also mention that as there are many new members in my channel, I'll be going through an introduction on the different pillars in the chart again in the next segment. And if you are already very familiar, please go directly to the video description where I have timestamps that goes direct to those with the forecast for dragon and snake within their charts. So I'll see you in the next segment. Hi, as usual, if you're new to my channel and do not have your 八字 chart, please scan this QR code or go to 八字calculator.janetyong.com to get your 八字 chart itself. And I will be going through what it means for each pillar. Like I mentioned earlier on, if you are familiar with your 八字, what each pillar means, please go ahead to the video description and click on the relevant dragon or snake forecast timestamps to get to what you want to hear. Right now, let me explain what it means by having the dragon or the snake in the various different pillars of your chart. So if it appears in the year pillar itself, generally what it means is the stars, the interactions are more towards your bigger company environment, your bigger industry environment, or your relationship with your grandparents, or your perception of the bigger industry environment or the bigger company environment. If the dragon or the snake is in your month pillar, then it's more about perception of the immediate department, your relationship with your boss or your parents. If it is within the day itself, then it is more about your relationship either with your colleagues, peers, your spouse, because this is a spouse palace, or partner if you are in a business venture. And the hour pillar, it's really about relationship or what's happening towards the subordinates, relationship with your children, as well as the owl pillar represents your action. So therefore, if you are looking at whether this is a good year for doing that particular investment or taking that particular risk, look at whether the dragon or the snake is within your hour pillar or the animal branch within this particular hour itself. Let's move on to that of the dragon. Now, dragon, unfortunately, is ranked the last animal in the 2022 animal race. Now, why is this the case? It's because the dragon does not have any auspicious stars. So this, like I mentioned in many videos, only indicates the kind of stars that are coming into the animal branches in the new year. It does not represent the outcome or your luck individually, because each person can have up to 4 different animal signs. However, if the dragon is basically in your month branch, meaning you are born probably between the months of mid-April to early May, then you likely will be born in the month of Dragon, and therefore from a career perspective it is a year where you probably need to lie low, build a foundation, focus more on learning itself, especially the Southeast Palace, which is the animal horoscope palace of the Dragon, has the number 4 learning star, which I'll cover a little later on. Let's look at what are the inauspicious stars in the Dragon's chart in the new year. In the year of the water tiger, what you are seeing is there's this funeral door star. What does it mean? Funeral door generally means probably the incidences or occurrence of illness or accidents, especially if you are elderly or you have family members who are elderly, and if they are within the Dragon year or month branch, then you need to be a little bit careful. Make sure that you spend time in the auspicious sector, or your parents spend time in the auspicious sector itself. You also have the sky cry, which generally means despair. So it could be despair about family circumstances or your job environment itself, and the conflict star. So generally 2022 is a year where those with the Dragon in their charts, depending on where it is, will have not such a happy year. So managing and understand your emotions, taking time to reflect would be important for you to move forward in this new year. Let's cover where Dragon is in each of the pillars. If the Dragon appears within your year, then likelihood the bigger company environment or bigger industry environment that you're in, or if your grandparents are still around, that's not so much good news. But understanding where the bigger company environment is going and looking at where the opportunities are for yourself, especially from a learning and skill development perspective, would be critical for you to build foundation so that the following year will be a greater year for you. If the Dragon is within the month branch, then likelihood what's occurring, it's either towards your immediate superior, your immediate department, and because the month also covers your career mindset, so it may also be how you view your career, and therefore it might be time for you to reflect as to really, is this what you want to do for the rest of your life, or you need to start planning for the next stage of your life. Or if your parents are in the elderly group, then it is also a year that you need to pay special attention to their health, spend more time with them so that you do not have regrets later on. If the Dragon is within the day, then it could represent your peers, your colleagues, or your spouse. Having good communication with them would be critical, especially you have the despair and conflict star within the charts. And if let's say the Dragon is within the hour branch, that means it's more towards your children, the perception that you have when you're interacting with subordinates, if you have them, may not be that positive. So for those with the Dragon in the charts this year, understanding that your emotions will be going up and down in the various aspects of your life is critical, so that you do not react impulsively or through your emotions when triggered. The other thing we need to take note though is that the Dragon is situated in the Southeast horoscope palace. Now if it is within the Southeast 1 horoscope palace itself, you will have the number 4 romance and good relationship star. It is also that of the study and literary star. So if you are a single Dragon, though it will not be a year in terms of getting that final say or yes to that someone permanent, but it's a good year to network, to get to know people and build good relationships in the longer term, though you need to stay emotionally a little detached. If you are studying or engaging in learning, that's great news because the number 4 star will aid you. And if you spend time in the southeast sector of your home, provided it is not the kitchen, the service balcony, or the toilets, it will be a great year for you to continue learning. The key is because of the funeral door star, not spending time in the inauspicious sector would be critical, and I will be covering where are the inauspicious sectors in a later episode that will be coming up after the animal horoscope forecast. Let's now move on to those born with the snake within their charts. Congratulations, you ranked 4th within the animal race for the year 2022. And let's take a look at why this is the case. That's because you have moon star and plenty of nobleman stars within your chart this year. Now the moon represents basically a female nobleman. And it could also mean that because each of us will have both divine feminine and masculine energies, it could be someone who is more of a nurturing type of energy that is your nobleman. And with the moon star, it generally talks about increase in asset values, increase in your business revenue. So if you are in investments, congratulations, great news, because this year you'll get the guidance from helpful people on how to increase your asset value or your business value itself. Now, the other thing about the nobleman is you have to take the first step. Do not just sit there and wait for someone to come, because at the end of the day, nobody knows that you require the help, right? If you have the snake within your charts this year, especially if you have it within the year or the month, please do take that step to basically ask for help when you require it. However, there are also quite a few of the inauspicious stars like the six harms, the void, and the solitude. So what does it really mean? Solitude generally means that you need time to yourself, and because you do have the solitude as well as the void and the sorrow star, at times you will probably think about the situation that you are in and basically go into a downward spiral. I think it's crucial that you do take a step back and understand that what you think may not be necessarily the case, and that's where when you seek help from noblemen, it will really help you. Now watch out for relationships with people as well, because you do have the entanglement star, which brings about issues in terms of people relationships, emotions, as well as when you're signing the dotted line in terms of investment. Do take a little care so that you are not too rash and emotional when you're doing that investment itself. If you have the snake within the year pillar, it generally means that there are many helpful people in your social circle environment or in the bigger company or industry environment. Take that first step to get the help that you require in the area that you would like to have improvement. If it is within your month, then congratulations, because from a career, or if you're a business owner, from a business perspective, if you are willing to take that step, you will be able to see increase in revenue itself for your business, or increase in terms of income if you are in the working environment. But do watch out for some of the inauspicious stars, like I mentioned earlier, about not having the right attitude or having that right emotional attitude that may cause some issues with you and entanglements with your immediate boss or your parents. If you have the snake within your day, then it's representative more of your peers, your spouse, who may be your helpful person in the new year itself. If you have the snake within your hour branch, it will be a year where if you take the additional effort to ask and get help in terms of learning on how you can increase your asset value or business value, because of the right actions, you will see increase in your financial asset value itself. However, the snake also has the star of the void, the six harms, the conflicts, the entanglement. If you do not take a step back and also look carefully into the contract details and look at all the various different advisors and plot out the pros and cons, but rush into that decision itself, there may be a chance that you will flip the other way around. So that's what it means when you have the various different stars within your chart. Let's take a look again at the snake. The snake is also situated in the Southeast Palace, but it's in the third segment of the Southeast Palace itself. And you will have the number 4 star, just like the dragon, which is really about literacy, study luck, as well as building that good relationship with other people. So spend time in auspicious sectors that is highlighted here, especially for the number 4 star. If you are looking at building more networking opportunities, getting to know more people, do spend time in the southeast of your home or your office, so long as it's not the kitchen, the toilet, or the service balcony. I hope you have enjoyed what I've shared with you today, and I look forward to seeing you in my channel again next week, where I will share with you for those born with the horse and the goat within their charts. See you next week. Goodbye.